Hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for bearing with us. We had another webinar scheduled at the same time internally, and it turned out our account could only support one webinar at a time, which was a new learning for us today. But as we know in STEM, there's new learning all the time. And so we are happy to get that learning, and we apologize for the delay. But don't worry, we have plenty of time. We will still wrap by 2 p.m. as promised. And we have plenty of time to cover everything that's critical. And even more importantly, you will have contact information for us afterwards in case you have any follow-up questions. Because don't worry, we want to support everyone in having an amazing science festival. And if you need to jump off early, let me finally say we are recording this webinar and we will send it out afterwards. So we've got 24 people. You know what? Let's just dive right in. So first, congratulations. You are listening to a webinar that is designed to help you as 2018-2019 STEM plus Family Science Festival grant recipients, sponsored by Bayer. That's a long name, so from now on, we'll just call you the Science Festival winners. But congratulations, you won a grant. And just to clarify, we're going to deliver this message. We're going to talk about this webinar primarily for the local science festival. We have 30 of them. And the reason we're going to do that, we will do some differentiation, but we have 30 local science festival winners. And we also know that the district, council, and regional winners are going to be doing or helping support local science festivals. So that's why we think that'll probably be the most impactful. But again, we will be here afterwards for any technical support or any questions you might have. So congratulations, and let's dive right in. And we can also send out these slides afterwards. All right, so who do you have on the webinar? My name is Sean Arthurs. I'm the Senior Manager, Education Initiatives here at National PTA. I've been working on STEM plus Families for about 2 years. I'm working with Diane Koval from Bayer, who's going to introduce herself. We also have from National PTA.
Hi, I'm Rachel Fishman. I am Specialist of Programs and Partnerships, mainly focused on STEM and families.
And Rachel will be in contact with everyone. She's already been in contact with everyone about the award letters and getting our checks cut. And if you have any questions, Rachel, great primary point of contact. And then from Bayer, Diane is also on the line. Diane, do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Sure. Hello, everybody. As Sean mentioned, my name is Diane Koval, and I work with Bayer in our Corporate Social Responsibility Office. And one of our largest buckets of our community engagement and outreach is, of course, STEM education. And we are proud, as always, to be a part of STEM plus Families, and even more proud to be able to award these wonderful STEM grants and to see all the wonderful Bayer Science Festivals as a result. So congratulations to you all, and I look forward to a great fall through spring of this 18-19 grant season.
Thank you, Diane. And as some of you may know, there are local science grants and there are district, council, and regional ones. And we also, for the first time ever, Diane and I came up with this idea where there are going to be renewal grants. I don't think we have very many renewal grant people on the line because they've already done the grants, but that's just a little cue that we might, hopefully with Bayer's support, we'll be able to support anyone who wants to do another science festival next year. We might be able to offer some grants. So keep your eyes open for that. But of course, let's get this year right first. Okay, what are we going to talk about today?
All right, so today we'll briefly discuss our STEM and Families initiative to give you an idea of sort of the larger picture in which your grant falls. Then we'll go over key dates and important information that goes into actually making the Science Festival happen. We'll then talk about some of the resources provided by National PTA and Bayer, and we'll save plenty of time at the end to answer any questions that you might have.
All right. So I'm going to go, first, GoToWebinar. So if you are on there, everyone is muted right now, just so that if people are driving or talking or with kids or just hanging out and sneezing, we can all still listen. So you're muted right now, but you can raise a hand. You'll see a little icon on your screen. That's the yellow square. You'll also see, you should be able to hear us and see our screen, by the way. We're showing you slides. The most important thing is what you want to see there, that red circle. If you have any questions, and that should be on the right-hand side of your screen, feel free to type them in there. And what we'll do is we'll try to answer some during the webinar, but as I said, Rachel and I and Diane, if necessary, can respond to you later if we don't get to it on the webinar. So those are the GoToWebinar tools. I'm going to move quickly through STEM plus families because I think you're all proponents and you all know why it's important. The number of STEM jobs right now exceeds the number of STEM graduates. And we also know that STEM jobs are, they're well paid. They don't have to be a 4-year degree. And we know that there's underrepresentation in STEM from girls, children of color, and children from low socioeconomic status. And that's one of the reasons why Bayer and National PTA partnered to make these science festivals happen in schools across the country. Specifically, look at what happened last year. I'm not going to read all these stats. I'll let you go back to it if you want. But one of the ones that I think is probably one of the most critical and important, look at that 6,210 stat on the right, on the left middle. That's how many people did science and math hands-on stuff through our STEM Plus Families last year. And Bayer is the founding sponsor of our STEM Plus Families initiative, so they deserve a lot of credit for helping us get it off the ground. That number, by the way, is already over 10,000 people through the end of last year and in the beginning of this year. And this, by the way, this is a handout that's available on our website, and so we are happy you can download it. It's available in color or black, or you can print it in black and white. You can share, post it around your school, or even send it out to parents or school teachers if they want anything. And there's a second page to it as well with some great quotes.
All right, great. Now we'll go over some of the details and remind you some of the key facts about hosting the Science Festival. So the dates that you can host it start right now. I know some of you are going to be hosting in the next month or two, but you're also able to host it anytime up until May 31st. You will be working closely with us, so don't forget to, at the event, also acknowledge Bayer as a key partner as your event. Also, don't feel like you're starting from scratch. Like Sean mentioned, the website has a lot of great content. You can access materials, templates, and a lot of helpful information by going to the online toolkit, and you'll see the URL up there on the screen. There's also suggestions for things beyond just doing the science activities, like food and prizes and ways to structure and organize the event. Also, a key fact to remember for both you all and the volunteers: remind people that they don't have to be a science expert. This is for everybody to be able to get involved and do so enthusiastically. Finally, don't forget to share your success. We are asking that you share pictures with us, and you'll also see some of the social media, the Twitter handles and hashtags up on the screen that you can take advantage of.
So one of the biggest questions, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this later, but the toolkit, we have a list of experiments, and we will have a list of materials you need for those experiments, and we will even have a spreadsheet that tells you, if I'm going to have 100 people at my event, how many of these materials do I need to buy? And that's going to be up on the website. So don't worry about, hey, where am I going to find the experiments? Bayer has a whole curriculum online, makingsciencemakes.sense.com. We're going to flash to that later. And we took a lot of the, probably 10 to 15 of the most popular Bayer experiments, and we modified them to add a family engagement component, explicit family engagement component, and that's on our website. So that's a subset of the Bayer makingsciencemakes.sense.com experiments. So the goals: family engagement, shared science, right? Help families have fun. We know a lot of parents they might be a little bit nervous or have some trepidation around STEM. Well, this is a chance for parents to do STEM stuff with their kids of all backgrounds. And some of you that are located near Bayer facilities will have the chance to work with Bayer employees. Diane is going to talk about that. And then we definitely want you to use some of the Bayer experiments. All the pictures, by the way, are from our science festivals last year. You will see that's one of my favorites right there. That young lady has pierced a balloon with a wooden skewer. Didn't think it could be done myself when I first started doing this, and I'm glad to report I have not popped too many balloons.
All right, so we've already mentioned to you the toolkit. Within the toolkit, you can get advice on making connections. This is mainly getting your school leaders to be enthusiastic and involved, really introducing them to the program, getting a date on the calendar, and also connecting with your local community to make this a more holistic event. The second aspect that the toolkit covers is actually going through planning your event, from forming a planning committee to recruiting volunteers to thinking through all of the logistics. Next, the toolkit has some resources around promoting your event. This is where it's really helpful to go. There's already some pre-made flyers and flyer examples where you can go into the toolkit and actually access those templates and download them in Word documents and use them for yourself. There's also some social media tips and ways for you to really gain excitement from the public about this event. Then the toolkit will go into hosting your event, which is obviously the fun part. So like Sean mentioned, it will give you all of the details and link to spreadsheets and resources for you to run the event from start to finish. And then it will cover wrap up. So templates and samples of thank you letters that you can send to volunteers, really everything that you'll need to gather feedback, including a survey, which we'll talk more about, and reporting your results and sending pictures.
Okay, and so Rachel talked about our website. All this toolkit is on the website, so why don't I walk you through. So PTA.org, so you start there, and I'm going to go to programs, science festivals. You can see me clicking here, and again, I'm just walking you through how you get there from the original page, but you can go direct to pta.org/STEM/science toolkit. So here's our science plus science, STEM plus family science, and then you see this toolkit link right here. When you click on this one, this is one of the most important takeaways for you from this webinar. Look at all these, and these are accordion menus, so that means when you click on it, it's got everything we think you'll need, and if you have suggestions, if we're missing anything, let us know. You probably will not use all these documents, folks, but we wanted to put them up there in case you have any ideas or any questions, or you wanted any resources. This Science Festival photo carousel, I love, and it might be worth taking a look at when you have a chance, because as you'll see, I'll do a quick intro here. It's got pictures of every stage and lots of experiments. We're not going to walk through the whole thing, but what we did in this carousel is we walked you through with photos of what a science festival could look like, so you can imagine one in your school community. So you can take a look at that carousel, and we're back on the toolkit. Sign up sheet, we've got a sample budget. Here's the facilitator guides. Remember I said those? We've got right here. Now these are experiments that we have taken from the Bayer website, and we've modified them to make sure family engagement is in here. So we really recommend, like if you just open one of these documents, look at this. It's a 2-page facilitator guide, and what you would do is you would buy the materials here. Here's the materials, and then you would put this sheet at the station so that people can come up, and it gives you questions to ask people when they walk up, instructions, and then a quick and easy understandable how does this work with some vocabulary and real world application. These are the facilitators guides that we have for each experiment. So let's go back to the toolkit quickly. So we're jumping in and out of the toolkit. Promote your events. We've got a flyer template that might help. Morning media, anything you might want there. Host your event. Look at all this. We've got a checklist, an agenda. Look at this passport. I'd like to call your attention to this. We saw a lot of PTAs last year that they would set up 10 stations, and then they would have the students go around and get a stamp or a signature or a hole punch at each station, and they'd be eligible for a prize at the end of the night when you turn in a passport. We know that's a good idea. So that's the passport idea. Here's a photo release. So if you want to take pictures, which we're really hoping you will do, and you'll send to us so that we can have more pictures for next year, here's a photo release form. And then last but not least, we do ask you to do some evaluation. So we've got parent and student surveys, and some of you will be getting an online survey. So that was a quick walk through our toolkit. Again, I know we're going quickly through the toolkit. We're not talking about every document, but the idea is you know where to go if you need any documents. If you want to see pictures, right, the carousel. If you want the media guide, you just come to our website and print it. If you want the facilitators guides, how do we do these experiments? What are we doing at each station? All in the toolkit. And if we're going back to, let's go back to our slides. This is a lot of the same stuff that we had spoken about and that's in the toolkit online. You know, do your initial planning, promote your event. Here's a sample flyer. You can put your school name and the date in there. And then this one has dinner, right? Because everyone's getting money you're getting a grant from Bayer and National PTA, and you're getting money for supplies. I will briefly address that. I'll briefly address that now because I want you to know that we are not sending out any materials. We will send you a materials list for each experiment, And then for the local grant recipients, you will get the $1,000 grant and you will get $250 to buy supplies. You might need a little bit more of supplies. It depends on how many people are showing up. But we will send you a check for $1,250. For the district council and regional, you will get $3,000 plus $500 in supplies. And for the renewal, you get a $500 grant to use however you want to make another science festival. So we do not send you any supplies, but we do tell you, we give a suggested list of experiments, and then we give you the materials you will need. Some schools were able to gather a lot of these materials by asking parents to donate them or having their kids bring in 2-liter bottles. So you might be able to save some money that way too. Other people got really creative and got donations or went to the dollar store. So that was why we actually moved away from sending supplies. But we do give you the list of everything you will need. And what you'll do is choose the experiments you want, and then the spreadsheet will tell you what materials you need. Okay, again, we'll be available for questions. I know this is a lot of information coming at you, but we just want to let you know that we're supporting you at every stage.
All right, and beyond just focusing on the activities themselves, it's important to really think about how you're going to set up your venue. So having tables and supplies ready and organized, making sure you welcome your volunteers, give them all the information that they need, and making sure that food is set up and accessible and won't interfere location-wise with where you'll be doing your experiments.
Okay. There's the passport that we mentioned. A lot of PTAs have given raffle tickets in the beginning, right? You can use some of your grant funding to buy raffles at the end, and maybe raffles, prizes for all students who complete the passport. There you've got the photo mentioned, the consent to photo. Welcome people.
And like Sean mentioned, the experiments are all on the site. You saw him click on one of them. And this is all from Bayer's Making Science Make Sense curriculum.
Yeah, so the Bayer, you'll see the logo there. If you want to go to Bayer Making Science Make Sense to get the experiments, you can. But as we said, we have 16 experiments that we've highlighted, and that's on our website. And they are written and with a family engagement lens in mind. So you can go to Bayer's website if you like, or just go to our website where we've adapted some of the Bayer experiments. And then you pick the experiments you want. A lot of PTAs have done the station, so 10 stations around the room. We've seen that work well.
And Sean already mentioned the amount of money that you will all be getting in terms of the checks you'll receive. Just as a reminder, these are the amount of money that you'll get for purchasing your supplies. And
this is an addition, so let's be clear. Local grant recipients receive $250 for supplies plus the $1,000 grant. And yes, you might want to use some of your grant to buy extra supplies if you're going to have a lot of people. Or you can use your grant to do anything from, do you need interpreters? Do you want to buy incentives for teachers to attend? Do you want to buy raffle prizes? Is it food and drink? We had one school last year that bought a bus to transport kids from a nearby apartment complex. Do you need childcare? Any of the expenses you can use. Official PTA guidelines require me to say you may not buy guns, alcohol, or tobacco with your money, but anything else is okay. State and regional, you will get $500 for supplies plus your $3,000 grant. Renewal grant recipients receive a total of $500. And so we put that there. You get a total of $500 to use as you will. There is no additional grant for that, but that hopefully will help some of our Science Festival winners from last year have another great event with the $500.
All right, so in terms of volunteers, you should make sure to have at least one volunteer circulating throughout the night. Do things like keeping people up to date on how much time you have left, give a 20-minute warning. At the end, if you are doing passports and raffles, make sure to gather them at the end. Don't forget to thank everyone for attending. I know sometimes in the craziness of the event, it can be hard to remember to do that. And finally, make sure that you pack up the materials and clean up and respect the space that you are in.
Okay. How do you know if there's a local Bayer? And this is where, Diane, can you jump in?
Sure. Hi, Sean. Sorry, I was on mute as instructed. So for a lot of the grants, as they were being awarded, Sean was letting me know, who was up for the running for the grants, and so I could let him know as we saw the winners that were coming in, where he might be able to participate. Obviously, Bear is located across the U.S., but we're not in every state and every county and every local area. So as I'm looking over all the different grantees that have been awarded, I'll be in touch with Sean, and he'll be able to connect me with all of you who have won the grant awards, and I can map that against where we have a presence. Unfortunately, we are not able to be on site at every location where a grant has been awarded, because we simply just don't have any staff available in some of those locations. But where we do have staff and they're able to participate and be involved as far as being there for your science festivals or being there and helping for the planning, we absolutely will do that. So I will get with Sean and determine where we are able to engage on an employee volunteer basis. He will give me your information, and then I'll set up calls with those of you that are in those locations, so I can introduce you to your Bear contact, and we'll be able to have you all have a presence with Bear staff on site in those locations. So we'll be in touch very shortly. After this call, I'll get with Sean, and we'll be able then to start that process of reaching out.
Okay, so thanks, Diane. So as Diane said, if there is a local Bear, some of you are going to be really fortunate to be a local Bear. Diane is going to help do a matchmaker, and if the local Bear has the time and the facilities, I mean, there's all sorts of if they have the time and the employees, we've seen some great partnerships last year, and we would ask that you would obviously welcome the Bayer employees in and help with the planning. But wait for Diane or National PTA to get in contact with you on that. And if you do not hear from us, then it means that unfortunately there's no Bayer near you, but you can still use the Bayer curriculum and materials. Great question that I'm seeing, and don't forget, we've got a couple of minutes here at the end. Type your questions in there. The question was around when will the check be sent? And the checks will go out within a week. They will be sent to the address you put on your award letter, and it will be sent to the PTA president or PTA person's name, and usually at the school or attention PTA, whatever address you put on your award letter. So if you do not receive a check within 2 weeks, please contact us. Okay, the financial disbursement. So when we have your award letter, which we do, we will send the checks out. So that'll be within about a week. Now at your event, and what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to do some I'm going to pull up. Let me shift over here to our toolkit. Remember, I go science festivals, and then I can scroll down and go to the toolkit really quickly. We are asking that you have all participants at your event complete a survey. And we are going to ask some PTAs to do it all paper surveys, and you will see them right here. They're also available in Spanish. We're going to ask some PTAs to print these and give one to every participant, parent or student. Some PTAs will get a digital survey. That's right. How cool are we? We are piloting an online survey so it can save paper and also help us share resources more easily. And then some schools will get a mix. So how do I know which school I am? Rachel is going to send you an email. So you will get an email saying, "Dear PTA leader, please use all paper surveys." And then we're asking that you just print out paper surveys and have them at your event. "Dear PTA leader, please use only the digital." So that means we're asking that you do not print any paper surveys. You just use our digital. It's the same survey. It will just be done online, and parents and kids can do it on their phones. And then some PTAs will get one that says, "Please use both paper and digital," and then you let parents choose. If that sounds a little bit confusing and you're wondering which one you are, don't worry. We are going to send you an email clarifying that. So we're asking that you send in the surveys, right? So you can send, for the people who have paper surveys, you can actually physically mail them, or you can scan them, PDF them in. And we're also asking that you take 5 pictures at your event. Remember, have everyone sign the media release. You can send us more pictures if you want. And then we're asking that you also send in a PTA leader evaluation. So that's a 1-page document that we're going to send out that asks you some questions about your event. And for every PTA that does this, we'll say within 3 weeks of the end of your event, you are going to be entered in a drawing, and it's just Math Night and Science Festival winners, so you have a really good chance. We'll get a free invention night. And what's an invention night? Well, let me clarify. And by the way, if you haven't applied for the invention night anyway, you should. PTA.org/grants. We have 2 open grants. We have 1 open grant and 1 is a drawing right now. So we have an open Think Fun drawing, which is where you get 42 Think Fun games in the mail to host a game night. And then we have a PTA.org/grants. We have an Invention Night grant where you will get over $5,000 worth of materials from Little Bits. They're really cool. They're awesome materials. You can build up to 12 inventions from each kit, and your PTA gets a free droid to raffle off, and you get a STEM teacher kit. Yeah, over $5,000 worth of Little Bits. The application takes you 15 minutes. But how this ties in here is for every Science Festival grant winner, when you send in your evaluation materials, the surveys, the pictures, the one-page leader evaluation, we are going to pick one of those PTAs. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to apply. We're just going to pick one who will get a free Invention Night. So we ask you to help us get better by sending in the evaluation. And to reward that, we're going to choose one of y'all. It will be from our Math Night winners and Science Night winners only, Science Festival winners only. So it's a small pool. So please make sure you send those in. And what we do, by the way, one way, this is kind of a quick side note, one really successful way to complete the surveys is to have another raffle ticket. Maybe have a prize, like go out, get something donated, or get a $50 gift card, or, you know, we've seen all sorts of creativity from PTA leaders. And when you complete the survey, so when you fill out the paper survey, you turn it in and the PTA leader gives you a raffle ticket. Or for the online one, after people show the screen to you that says, thank you for submitting the Bayer Science Festival survey, you give them a raffle ticket, and then you have a drawing. So that's a great way to get people to submit their surveys. And we'd really like those, really appreciate, because it helps us get better from year to year. And you see Rachel's email address down there at the bottom, rfishman@pta.org. That's where you're going to send all the evaluation stuff. We'll track it here. And then, like we said, we're going to have a drawing. Somebody's going to get over $5,000 worth of Little Bit stuff in the mail for free. And you can still, by the way, even though you won the Science Festival, I really think everyone should go and apply for the Think Fun Game Night drawing. And also you should apply for the Invention Night anyway. Go there right after the webinar, pta.org/grants. So thanks, everybody. We are now going to, I'll just take some questions. And as you know, you can email Rachel if you have any other questions. You've all gotten emails from her in the last week or so. Let's see if we have any questions on here. What are the age ranges for the students of the experiments? Diane answered that one for us helpfully. She says typically late elementary through middle school. And I am going to add to that. Like I have seen, because remember, you're going to be parents working with kids. I have seen some younger elementary school kids love some of this stuff as well to do with especially because you're going to have a parent there helping them pierce the balloon, or helping them make raisins dance in a bottle, or helping them test paint color. I mean, there's all sorts of really cool stuff. So I would even say early elementary, especially with the parents. Mm-hmm. And you can also remember, you can help select the experiments you want. You go to Bayer's MakingScienceMakeSense.com. We have taken 16 of the experiments and we've made facilitators guides, and we have made materials lists, and we have made them very family engagement focused. We have 16 of those on our website. Remember, go to the toolkit. But if you want more experiments or you want different ones, go to Bayer, MakingScienceMakeSense.com. They have a whole experiment library.
Sean?
Yeah, please,
Sean,
Diane.
This is Diane. I would just say that that's a really good point, in that a lot of the experiments, you know, I was thinking, well, if they're first, second, third graders, they might be a little too young to be doing them on their own. But you're right, with parents, you could certainly do them with them, and that's obviously the idea, to have the parents engage while they're doing it. So you're right. All of our experiments can be done so that it's younger kids are able to engage with them all the way up into early high school, depending on who's doing the instructions, and if it's someone you know, can speak to the different science involved. But you're right. I mean, if they're being done with you know, first graders 6, 7, 8 years old, and first, second, and third grade, that is absolutely true. That the younger grades can certainly be engaged in doing that as well, and all the way through. So we typically say around middle school, but I think that you're right, in those early grades, with parental support and engagement, that'd be absolutely applicable and appropriate.
So thanks, Diane. And I'm going to wrap up because I did promise 2 o'clock, so I'll answer 2 last questions, and then like I said, please email Rachel, myself. If we need to, we can loop in Diane. We will make sure you have all your questions answered. We will send out this recording. The last two questions, the renewal grant for next year. I love how some people are already looking ahead to think about that. That renewal grant, the way it would work is if you were a winner this year, you will get an email from us over the summer saying, hey, are you interested in applying for a renewal grant? It's $500 and you can use it however you want to have another science festival. So we will contact you in the summer, late summer. So no need to worry about doing anything proactively. And the second one is, we have a great question about, can the experiments be modified to support students with disabilities? Absolutely. We've seen the Oklahoma PTA in particular did a great job of that last year, so I can put you in touch with that person, Debbie, or if anyone else is interested. And as well, you can also do things like you can alter the sensory expressions and the surrounding noise. You can open it early for students with disabilities or different learning abilities if you'd like, and invite those parents and kids to come in early. We have seen different modifications. We absolutely encourage it. We love to see that question. So I did promise we'd get you out of here by 2. We're 2 minutes late, but I do want to say thank you very much to everybody. Congratulations. You're helping spread STEM. You're helping close the STEM gap for girls, children of color, and children from low socioeconomic. You're helping promote family engagement in STEM. These are awesome goals. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to email Rachel. And on behalf of National PTA, I'd like to say thank you and congratulations. Diane, you want to sign off?
Sure. Again, just to say, I echo that, Sean. Congratulations to everybody. Without you all, there is no STEM Plus families, because you're the ones that are engaging in their communities. You're engaging with the parents, and the teachers, and the students, and it is just, it's so exciting to see how this initiative is growing and how engaged and supportive all the communities are. And so, have a wonderful school year. Have fun with your festivals. Have fun with the students, teachers, and parents. And we look forward to seeing just a lot of wonderful photos and pictures and stories as a result. So thank you all for being so engaged, and we look forward to a great year. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Look forward to hearing from you and working with you and getting those evaluations, photos, and feedback forms, and hearing about some awesome science festivals. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Wednesday. Hit us up if you have any questions.
Sean?